Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the One Dad, Seven Lives podcast with me, Mr. Funk. I do thank you all for joining me for this one today. Now, question for anyone who's listening out there. Have you ever had your kid have an accident on purpose? This is something that I experienced with obviously my boy, my first kid, for the first time. And it was something that I've never heard anybody speak about or speak on. And it's such a weird thing. Like, the little fucker would get into trouble. Like, he would do something wrong and then the little shit would fuck off somewhere. And then he would come back like 10 minutes later. And he would go, Mummy, Daddy, whoever it was, maybe both of us, whatever it might be. And he would say that he had an accident. And it took us a while to realise the little shit was fucking off away somewhere and then pissing himself. And usually it would be like on his bed or in like a corner of his room or something like that. On purpose. Because we had just given him into trouble. So he felt aggrieved by this and would therefore fuck off and go piss somewhere so that we had to clean it up. And I don't know if anybody's ever experienced that from their kids, but it's something that we watched out for, certainly with our other kids. And it took us a while, like I mean a long time, to figure this out. It probably wasn't until he did it once, almost immediately after he got into trouble, and he came back and he was like, "Oh, I've peed my bed," and we're like, "Hold the fucking phone." And we investigated it with him and like asked him questions about it, and it turns out that yeah, the little fucker was pissing his bed or pissing somewhere, and himself. Like, he wasn't like whipping his willy out and pissing all over the place. He was literally pissing himself and wherever he was at the same time. And this was on purpose. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, for real. Why does nobody ever warn you that this is a thing that kids do? Or maybe it's just my kids are devious little fuckers. I don't know. But yeah, this was something that we definitely had to watch out for, especially once our two girls got a bit older and stuff like that. We made sure that we watched out for it. But how come nobody ever warns you about that? Like, I've heard of people having accidents. Like, I'm pretty sure there's fucking men and women out there that are listening right now who have fucking trusted a fart a little too much and been like, I've fucked up. I've fucked up. I've certainly done it, especially when I'm fucking not well. Like, it is something that has happened. Um, and I certainly, I don't deny that it's happened, but like, you know, it's a kid, like a child. Since when did fucking, you know, 3 year olds and 4 year olds become that fucking devious that they were to the point whereby they're literally purposefully pissing their bed? Like, what the fuck is that shit? What is that? Like, can someone explain to me how a child comes up with that in their own, like, in their own brain? Like, how does that become something that a kid goes, yep, this is what I'm gonna do? Like, what? For real? Like, since when? Since when did that become something that kids do? Because no cunt ever fucking warned me about it. I'll tell you that much for sure. And I wish they did. Because if I had known about it, I'd have been watching for it. Rather than being caught off guard by it like 6 months to a year later and not knowing about it until way after it had been done loads of times. Like, because this little fucker wasn't even fucking shy about it either. Like, once it was done, he would come and tell us that he had just pissed himself and we're like, alright, okay, it's just an accident, you're being potty trained, blah blah blah. Nope, nope, absolutely not. Nothing to do with potty training. Just pissed himself on purpose. Because, he's a kid. That's what kids do apparently now. I don't know when it started, but it is a thing. If someone could help me and tell me when the fuck that started, I would be grateful. But yeah, it's something that you need to watch out for. The other thing you need to watch out for, and people don't tell you this often enough as well, is watch out for your kids being suicidal. And I don't just mean like they might do something that's a little bit silly. I mean like properly fucking trying to run into traffic and throw themselves into places that they absolutely should not be, like canals, rivers, and different things like that. People don't tell you that your kid will try that, but they do. And I don't just mean like they want to look at something and may accidentally stumble and might fall. I mean like will fully try and throw themselves into things, climb into things that they are not supposed to. You know, like fucking, oh, there's a swan. I want to go see the swan. Not realizing that there's like water that they can't swim in there, and will fully just go for it, like fully try and kill themselves to see the swan or the ducky or whatever the fuck it might be. Oh, there's a dog on the other side of the road, and I've learned that dogs are nice things. Let's go fucking run into traffic and try and play with the doggy. Now, you may say, well, that's your fault for not paying attention to your kid. No, 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 no. Kids are slippery little fuckers. And I don't care what anyone says. They are. You can be holding your child's hand 1 minute, the next minute they're 8 feet up. Well, fucking not even a minute. The next 5 seconds later, they're 8 feet fucking further ahead of you without you holding their hand anymore. You don't know how it happened. They're just not there. And this is, yes, this is something that happens. I don't understand how it happens because you're fully talking to your child. Like I used to be talking to my kids while walking down the street or across the road, and looking at them and watching where I'm going, and I would look up to make sure that I wasn't going to face plant it over the curb, and they were just not there anymore. They were gone. Just straight up, disappeared, not there. How that happens, I don't know. How they achieve it, I don't know. But yeah, kids are suicidal. So just be warned of that. And I don't mean daft things like putting fucking objects into a plug socket or um, things like that, trying to eat the fucking sharp end of a knife. I don't mean daft things like that that kids are, you know, known for. And when I say sharp end of a knife, obviously I mean like when you give a kid like when you get like toddler cutlery as I call it, like the forks and knives when they're just starting to learn to feed themselves with a fork and knife, and they'll stick the fucking end of the knife there. Obviously it's fully blunt, it doesn't cut anything, but yeah, kids will also do that, so be aware of that. What else? What else? What else? What else? Um, they also like to try and climb people. Again, maybe that's just my kids, maybe that's just me. But my kids loved to climb people. Like, loved it. If they saw someone walking down the street and it was someone that you were talking to, they would start trying to climb up them, like grabbing onto their waist and like fully fucking like almost seemed like they were trying to climb inside them, like head up their arse and fucking going for it. But yeah, they'll do that. Um, they will also try and climb in people's houses. Yes, that has happened to me. Where I stay, down the road a wee bit, there's a wall, and then there's like people's verandas with like railings on them. So it's like these big double. It's just like a set of double doors, really. But it just leads onto like this little sort of fenced off veranda area. But it's like only like a foot wide, like barely enough to stand on. You wouldn't be able to close the door and stand in it. But anyway, that's something else. Um, and yeah, my kids have during the summer months when we're out with them, um, they have fully tried to climb inside other people's houses, because the people tried to speak to them and were like waving to them, because this is like a grassy area, with like a wall on it, and obviously kids love running on grass, and climbing up onto walls and walking along walls. And yeah, this one woman made the mistake of trying to speak to my kid, and my kid decided, oh well, you've got a house and you're speaking to me, therefore I'm coming in it. And yeah, it was weird, interesting. Take your pick, figure out which one you want it to be, but it was certainly something. I'll put it that way. It was definitely a thing. It was definitely something. Um, so yeah, that's another thing that you need to watch out for. Um, what else? Nothing else that I can think of off the top of my head. Um, but yeah, watch out for those things. Your kid will absolutely fucking make you hate them and laugh at the exact same time. Like, you will hate them and want to choke them to death, but you won't be able to help yourself but laugh. Embarrassment, yeah, you best not be easily embarrassed when you have kids, because that shit's going to happen to you a lot. Your kid is going to make your life basically one just embarrassing moment after the other. And if you don't believe me, have one. Try it. See what you think. And then come back to me in 3 or 4 years' time and tell me that I was right. Because I know I am. It doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter what you say, you will be embarrassed by your child. And that's why we have them. Because we get to embarrass them later in their life. That is the whole reason for it. At least in my opinion, that's why I've got kids. Because I get to embarrass them later. That's really the main thing. If I don't get to do that, then what's the point? What is the point? Anyway, guys, this was just a quick little sort of, you know, anecdotal one more than anything else. Um, just tell you some things that my kids have done, and what to watch out for with your kids if you do have them and they're young in age. Because no matter what people tell you, these things do happen. And yeah, enjoy being fucked with for the next 18 years. That's all I've got to say on it. Anyway, guys, thank you, certainly, to everyone who listened and who was listening and who is listening. I do appreciate you all. If you want to come and find me somewhere, it's mainly just over on Twitter. I don't have anything else. And yeah, that's kind of it. Thank you very much. Yo, have a good day. Cheers.